What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are starting the second new show of the day. This is Otherside Picnic. Today was the start of winter 2021. We had a very good start with Last Dungeon Boonies just before this. Now we're moving on to Otherside Picnic. So, if you're new to the channel, hi, welcome. I'm a British guy who reacts to seasonal anime. And for the first time this season, every single show that we watch here is going to have a picture-in-picture version available on Patreon. So you can find the link to that is in the description. Just £4 a month gets you access to every single show that I do as picture-in-picture, which at the moment is currently around 32, I believe, 32, 33, somewhere around there, shows. Obviously that will come down as time goes on and I drop shows, etc. But yeah, we have a lot of shows to get through. This is the second one that we're starting today, and as per usual, what I like to do to start off is to load up the analyst page, look over synopsis, tags, studios, cast, things like that, just to get a basic feel of what the show is like, and then we jump into the episode after. So if you don't want to see any of the analyst stuff, you can skip to the timestamp in the description, which will be straight to the reaction when that starts, and I do the countdown and all that good stuff. So, let's get the display up here, shall we? Otherside Picnic. Moments from death. Sorrow is saved by the mysterious Toriko in the other side. It just makes me think of the song from Invaded. Who did that song? See on the other side. Was that a Miyavi song? I forget. Attracted to its beauty, she soon discovers that this dimension is inhabited by monsters once thought imaginary. It doesn't say what specific type of monsters. I guess those could be... Well, they could be from any culture, necessarily. I assume there's going to be a lot of yokai-type monsters in this, because Japanese, but I guess we'll see. Joining with Toriko in her search for a missing friend, they set out to explore this nightmare realm and maybe make a little money. Making money, I don't quite know what, but I guess, judging by the fact they've got all guns, I'm going to assume they're hunting, probably. What they encounter could bring enlightenment or drive them mad. Okay, so we have a grander purpose of searching for a friend, and she feels indebted, and this world is apparently beautiful in its own way. Curious premise, it must be said. So Toriko is voiced by Aike Ano, who I'm fairly certain who we just heard in, where is it? Yeah, so she's Maria from Last Dungeon Boonies, Jesus Christ, that we just watched. So, Yumiri Hanamori, I feel like I recognize your voice as well. Yeah, Lloyd. So it's Lloyd and Maria is now Soro and Toriko. So, yeah, very familiar first day here. I'm going to assume, I mean, they're both Lion Films productions. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but they might have gone through the same agency to get these people. Who knows? But yeah, I can still really see the guns and stuff, so there is going to be some form of combat in this, I assume. I'm not paying attention to this score, by the way, because it is currently 7:30 in the evening, which is very, very early for me to be recording. So the show's only been out a couple of hours here in the West anyway, so these scores are going to mean absolutely nothing until Analyst has some time to update and such, so I'm not paying much mind to these yet. But this is Leiden Films, who are doing a lot of other shows this season. They did Last Dungeon Boonies that we just watched. We'll also be watching Hortensia Saga and Cells of Work Code Black. They did Woodpecker Detective's Office last year. And they've done Hanabado, Love Lies, Akashic Records. They've done a bunch of other shows as well, but I'm just mentioning the ones that I've actually watched. But they've done a lot. This was meant to be okay. This was okay, I suppose. So yeah, Boy School Juliet, I've heard some good things about as well. But yeah. They're also working with Felix Film on this, and if you've heard Felix Film before, it's because they did the Nekopara anime. And I don't know... See, normally when I see a second studio, and then I see the CGI tag, I assume they've brought the second studio on to do the CGI, but Felix Film did not really use CGI as much. They're not really a CGI studio, at least from the looks of things. So, I assume Leiden Films is then doing the CGI. But I don't know what that's going to look like. But there's a lot of tags here. Adventure, fantasy, mystery, sci-fi are the official genre ones. You've got survival, mythology, female protagonist, post-apocalypse, guns, yeah, so much. CGI, of course. Now, the Yuri tag, I do wonder. I wonder if it's just implied, if there's going to be any actual shoujo romance elements to it. I don't expect so. I mean, it's possible. I mean, these two fighting through the world together, I'm sure that's going to play into it at some point. Maybe there's even a monster of some sort that is going to utilize that against them, maybe? I don't know. But we've got 4 main cast members here. I assume one's the missing friend, which means we must meet up with them fairly early, I guess. Don't know who the 4th one's going to be, though. Someone else who gets pulled into the world somehow? I wonder. I'm curious how they are going to get to the other side, how they're going to explain why the other side exists, things like that. There's some real interest there. I'm kind of curious to see where they go with it, but overall, it looks interesting. They did update this image. When I did my winter preview not too long ago, this was a completely different image, which was much more stylistic. This one, they've actually added the guns and shown that, like, oh yeah, this is the other side, we're going fighting there. So, it's a little different to the way I first saw this, but anyway, that is... it's interesting things to note, and all I really need to see before we jump into this one. So, let's get the episode up here. Yeah, so as per usual, here on YouTube, these are the time-based format reactions. So, bottom left of the screen, you'll see the time of the episode. I'll count down 3, 2, 1, play. Then on play, you start the episode, I start the episode, and we will be in sync. I'll call out the opening logos as they go. It's just the Funimation logo this time. So about 7 seconds logos. You can also use screen flash on my face or mic to tell when the scene's transitioning. Funimation logo is pretty easy for that, relatively speaking. But if you want to see the full picture-in-picture version, the Patreon is the place to do that. Link to that is in the description. Direct link to the post as well. Just £4 a month, like I said, gets you access to all the reactions that I do on this channel, including past reactions like Higurashi Jujutsu Kaisen, which will be continuing, as well as Moriarty the Patriot Part 1, which will come back in spring for Part 2. So, I think that's all the housekeeping rules I got to get out of the way. And not such a long intro this time, at least. Anyway, with all that said, let's get into this week's episode. I say this week's episode, it's the first episode. This one's titled Wiggle Waggle Hunting, by the way. I don't know what a wiggle waggle's meant to be, but hey, let's find out, shall we? In 3, 2, 1, play. Funimation logo, cheers to that. It's custom to drink during the logos. Blue screen. Gonna access the sky? I wonder. Uh-huh. Wow. Oh. I'm gonna guess no. Oh. Huh. Oh. Holy shit. Okay. That's one hell of a start. Whew, excuse me. I'm tired, my eyes are sleepy. This is going to be her saving her? Yep. This is how they meet. Why is that CG? Oh, no. Ooh. Why? Oh, God. The very poor use of CG. I like the music scenes they use, though. That's creepy. Um. So, okay. Hmm. Oh, the CG usage for just weird little scenes like that. What is this cube? OP time. Okay. Oh, that's OP. Okay. What's with the ethereal ghostly arm? Or hand, at least. Okay, good OP. I like it. Hmm. Okay, so they can freely go, but the wiggle waggle. Okay, that's what we're calling the wiggle waggle. That's what it's called now. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Not a clue. Hmm. Maybe his ability to see things from the other side? Makes sense. Okay. Looking for the friends, obviously. Mm-hmm. Uh, What are we gonna see? Oh, trippy. Oh, shit. Just a Makarov. It's fine. Huh? Everything's normal. Probably freaked out why she saw all blue. I wanted to actually go back, okay. Hmm. Interesting. How do you even get into this? Why? Well, obviously she's going to find a friend, but pretty carefree attitude. Oh. Hmm. Wow. Okay. Oh. Overheard? Why was she CG? Oh, interesting. We'll hunt the Wiggle Waggles. Oh, wow. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. The secret code. Hmm. Okay. I love the music for this. Creepy stuff. But here we are. That's the ad break, I guess. Then coming back from the ad break. Again with the CG shots for very weird, like 2-second shots. At least they got more use out of that one, I suppose. It's just odd for the CG choices sometimes. Like that, it didn't look so bad because of the lighting, but scenes like this, it just seems so weird. Hmm. That's probably for the best. Like, let's even in this world, proper gun safety. Mm-hmm. Yeah, easier not to ask questions, really. Hmm. Uh-huh. I don't think that's necessarily true, but oh. Oh. That's that's creepy. I think we found some wiggle waggles. Get that rock salt out. Is he gonna dodge? Yeah. It's almost like it learned. Hmm. What if you crushed it up and sprayed it? Instead of being like a solid projectile, you just spread it everywhere. Hmm. Huh? Hmm. Hmm. Right. Whoa. Wow. Hmm. Hmm. I think she just throw. Oh, there's the little. Hmm. Isn't necessarily safe to just rip them out, but I don't know if she had enough ammunition for that many shots. Maybe. I think that was what, 9 total? Hmm. Did it drop another one? Exactly the same size. Again, why use CG for this scene? I just don't get it. Then you have animation quality like that. And even like that. And yet they still use CG for certain weird scenes. I just. Okay. Want nothing to do with this. We go out hunting. And ED time. Looks like we might have a post-credit scene as well. I'm liking this so far. CG Felix film. Makes way too much sense. enjoyable. Celebration. What is this art style? Okay. That's a fun little ending bit. I quite like that. It's a kind of unique art style as well. I haven't seen something like that in a while. Or at all. I don't know if I have. Okay. Episode 1 completes. They've also just added a banner to analyst in the time I was watching that. Kind of interestingly. Okay. This is interesting. Like they've got an interesting world here that they can utilize. But some of the... Like, here's the thing. This show is inherently kind of good looking. And the soundtrack is very, very interesting. It sets the mood quite well, you know? And some of the animation has been really nice. And yet, for some unclear reason, certain shots of our main characters are this really weird and very bad CG. I don't mind CG. It's not that CG is a bad thing. CG is very, very useful for budget saving. And just having your models do certain things and certain repetitive things, especially for far away shots, where you don't need much detail. You can just have your characters doing CG motions. It's good for combat, where you can mocap some stuff and things like that. But for the scenes they chose to use CG on, I will never understand that. And if that was really the main reason for getting Felix Film involved, then I'm sorry you've made a bit of a mistake. Felix Film is not a well-developed CG studio. They just aren't. Like, they haven't done CG before, I don't think. Like, they use CG for Nekopara, I assume, but I don't actually remember where. If they did, it was, like, very inconsequential. But if it really is Felix Film that has provided the CG for this, and that's their main reason for partnering on this, my god, what a bad partnership that is. Now, if you wanted to have CG, you should have partnered with, what was the studio's name? Let me see if I can find them real quick. They did Land of Illustrious. What was the name of that? I think this is being slow to load right now. But whatever. Studio Orange. Like, if you really wanted to have some good CG and stuff, partner with Studio Orange. I know they're busy right now with B-Stars, obviously, but... Like, if you really want to partner with a CG studio to have CG done, and you want it to look good, partner with Orange. Like, they are... I think they are the standout studio when it comes to full CG productions, or any CG production. Yeah, partnering with Felix Film just for CG is probably not a good idea. Aside from that, though, aside from the really weird CG usage, it's an interesting world. I won't say it's not an instant hit right out the bat. There's a lot more questions I have about why they can go to this world. How is the world known to people like this? Like, I feel like there's some more exposition there to be dug up that maybe the next episode will start explaining, because this is a trend I've noticed more and more. First episodes of shows thrust you into it and let you experience it. Then the second episode ends up being the expositioning, explaining why the things the way they are. Kuma Bear last season did that, of just thrusting you in with your characters in and just having a fight scene and like attention grabbing, which apparently is what that's meant to be. It doesn't work for me anymore. Just to have action, and it's like, oh wow, look at this, and it's like, well, no, I kind of want to have a natural progression. Maybe that's just something that I've learned over many, many years of watching anime. It's just like, I'd rather have that progression, but I don't know. It's just the way my brain is at this point, I guess. But yeah, that was an interesting episode. I'm curious to see where they go with that. Like, it doesn't seem like... I'm just going to, for the sake of it, I'm going to look up a Wiggle Waggle. It's a grooming service near London. Okay, it's a dog grooming service. Apparently it was a movement literary series which accompanies Listen, Play, and prepares for other school radio movement series. Apparently it's a radio thing. See, I don't think Wiggle Waggle is necessarily a real thing. Obviously, I don't even know what they could. Is there a Japanese folklore or yokai or something along those lines that a wiggle waggle would essentially be? I'm assuming it's not called a wiggle waggle. I'm assuming that is just the nickname they came up with it. But is there an actual mythological or religious or any type of storied existence of that type of creature? Please let me know if there is anything like that. I'm kind of curious to see if there is. But yeah, it's just a odd shot choicing and CG usage. I hope they're not. I mean, if they're using that much of it in the first episode, that doesn't really strike me well for future goings on. Like, it would make sense to use that CG for combat. Like, if we have a more elaborate fight scene against some of these things. Not for the weird, just going down a ladder scenes. Like, just felt really weird to do it. It's like, would it have really have killed you just, like, in certain scenes? Just to have still image. Like, I noticed they used it for background characters a lot, and that's fine. Background characters often end up as CG characters. It's fine. You can just use a generic model and just change some colors, and boom, you're done. But did you really need to do that? Couldn't you have just drawn one frame and just have that? Especially if it's your main characters. Like, overusing CG on your main characters is a big no-no in my mind. Couldn't you have just done like a Couldn't you have just done a simple one-frame drawing and just use like camera movement to simulate some stuff? Like, I don't know, I just felt like really weird and odd choices that kind of broke the dynamic because, like I said, this is a pretty show when it's not using the CG. And it just detracts from it a little bit. I don't want to sound like one of those people that just bashes on CG for no reason, because I don't like people like that. But it just felt really weird to use some of those things, and I know it's been most of my criticism on the show, but that's the real thing that just breaks it a little. Because otherwise, I quite like this show. And there's a lot of interesting things to start exploring there. But yeah, it's just some odd bits there. But otherwise, yeah. It's an interesting world. I'm looking forward to Exposition when it comes, and we'll see from there. I don't think it's an instant, like, oh yes, I'm loving this, but it's definitely not a drop either. Definitely going to give it at least a 3-episode rule for certain. But I just want a little more exposition in the next couple of episodes, and just so we can feel like there's purpose behind this. Because I like the idea of Toriko looking for her friend and such. I assume that's the white-haired girl in all this. Because the brown hair was the one that I think just overheard them at the school, so maybe she's already well acquainted with the other side, or she's going to follow them one time, something like that. And who are these other people that also know of the world and are looking to make money off of it? Like, it seems like there's some form of system based around this, so how does that knowledge get shared around and things like that? So, like I said, exposition to this show would go a long way to helping with it, I think. So, we'll see if that happens. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one as per usual. Leave a like if you did. Helps grow the channel, as do your comments. Any questions or things I've raised, please point anything out. Obviously, avoid spoilers for what's coming up, because no one likes spoilers for stuff that they've not seen. So just be mindful of those. But any things that you can tell me about, like how this is as an adaptation, if they're speeding through things, if they're being faithful, if they're changing a lot, etc. Those things are all fine. Just don't tell me specifically what changes, just in case they... Because sometimes, it's rare, but sometimes when they skip certain things, they reposition it later on, things like that. So just be mindful of not saying what is missed, but saying stuff has been missed is fine. But yeah, that's going to do it for today, guys. Don't forget to hit subscribe as well to see next week's episode, as well as the rest of the Winter 2021 lineup you can find on the channel. This is the second show of the season, and the last one for today. We'll have Gekidoll tomorrow. I think that's the only one tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Annie List has done something really weird with the anime in progress thing. So they're not in order anymore, and that bugs me. But I think Gekidoll is the only show that I have planned for tomorrow, so I'll probably get around to some of my Patreon shows tomorrow as well. And that'll end up being how we get through that, so look forward to the rest of the shows. Don't forget to hit me up on Patreon as well to see the picture-in-picture versions, as well as on Discord to have conversations about all these new shows that are coming out as well. thank you for watching. Until next time, see you guys later.